I'm on some GM-ish. If you can catch my drift, I'm on some GM-ish.
Man, I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these. I've been working on some other projects that's coming out in the near future, so that kind of took me away from breakdowns that I've been bringing to you guys. But I'm back, so with that said, let's jump into this chorus. This chorus is real short and straight to the point, but basically what it's referring to is all the ups and downs and obstacles that I was dealing with during the process of creating my first album, A Grand Tale. Obviously, it's a lot of things in here that's personal and things that I experienced for myself, but hopefully you guys can grab some nuggets from the things that I was saying through my personal experiences, and maybe it can be more relatable to you after I break down the verse for you.
Had to tell Jesus to grab the wheel, I'm about to crash my whip. At the pace I'm racing, being hit with misdirection, about to miss my trip. My imperfections and reflections about to part ways from my lips. My dedication being intoxicated by the choices made on my ship.
So I start out saying, Jesus, you need to, get control of my life, take the wheel, because the decisions that I've been making, feel like I've been making them on my own without your guidance. And at this point, with all the things that I'm doing and the actions that I'm taking, I'm about to crash or go in the wrong direction. And that's why I utilize the word whip or car, because that's alluding to my spirit. I've been making so many decisions without thinking them through. My actions has been done without thinking them through, to the point where my spiritual guidance in me started to realize, hey man, like, you doing a lot of stuff out of the grace and mercy of God. And usually when I do things like that, me personally, I find that I miss out on blessings that I was supposed to have had I just stuck to the script. Hence why I said I'll be missing my trip. So my trip is my blessing in this instant. On a daily basis, I'll reflect. It's kind of like a mental film or a process I go through where I look at myself and look at my imperfections, look at my flaws, and see what it is I'm doing wrong. But lately I've been doing it more. And on top of that, not only have I been doing it for myself, because of the things I've been thinking in my head, everybody that I've encountered, I started looking at them like, how you gonna screw me over, or when are you gonna leave? I have this philosophy I go by. When I feel like I'm doing that, I think when I look at somebody's negative flaws or intentions and things of that nature, I'm looking at merely the things that are in myself. So what I mean by that is, when I'm looking at somebody and I'm looking at their flaws, I'm looking at things that I probably have in myself or I had before. And that's why I was able to spot them so quickly. All this really is a mental battle in my head. Nothing has actually taken place yet, but everybody knows the first thoughts come and then action, so it's a mental battle going on. And what I'm doing at this point is just reiterating, how toxic my mindset is right now, or I'm intoxicated. And intoxication, if you allude that to drinking and driving or something like that, your vision is impaired, all those things. So what I'm saying here is, my faith is starting to become impaired because of my thought process. And as a result of that, I'm losing a sight of the goal that I had for the whole reason of me, doing music and things of that nature.
Hard liquor, weed smoke, form the dark cloud right above my head. My cousin dead, bro, MIA, all for the love of street cred. Try to ebb and flow with these thoughts, had no idea where they went, how much to weigh, but the price to pay, had to inherit that loss.
I feel like I'm doing way more drinking and smoking than I normally have done. Obviously, it was an occasional thing for me at one point, but now I'm feeling like I'm doing it because I'm trying to find a way to get away from things. Anybody who's done this, they realize once you've done it, you're back in the same situation anyways. That dark cloud that I was referring to in the song is my thought process, because I have this belief that whatever you're thinking about emotionally before you indulge in smoking, drinking, whatever your vice is, I feel like it's enhanced. So I'm feeling like, oh man, I am my own demise. I'm creating this dark cloud on top of my head because my thought process on top of the vices I'm indulging in, they're becoming worse and worse, and I'm manifesting my own negativity, and that's why I can't escape from it. I end up talking about, my cousin being killed in front of his house. Then what seemed like it happened the next day, but it really didn't. Technically, it happened like 2.5 years later. While I was in LA, my brother also went missing. But like I said, it seemed like it happened so closely together based on the things that I was told, seemed like it kind of had some street ties to it, but nor here nor there. The point is, I know that people had something to do with it, but ultimately the streets was the murderer, so that's how I saw that. But it was really a game-changing event for me in a negative form. Piggybacking on the whole drinking, smoking thing, I'm coping with these things that's happening. And, I didn't realize at the time how much of an impact they had on me and who I am today. And I also knew what they wanted to do with themselves. I knew their ambitions. I knew their goals, despite the fact of the other stuff that, that occurred. I knew what they really wanted to do, and they knew what I wanted to do. So at this point, I put a burden on myself that God didn't even tell me to put on myself. I decided to take on their goals and ambitions and pack them on top of mine, which as a result, it caused me to have anxiety and being overwhelmed, because it's like, I'm not just doing what I'm doing for me. I'm doing it for them because they didn't get to fulfill what they said they wanted to do because their journey was cut short.
And life's a trip, but left the luggage and baggage claim. Boarded planes with a carry-on, but carrying on just not the same. Impersonations of the man of steel, but was caught off guard when I left my home. Was shot with a piece of kryptonite in my Achilles heel. Not 24, I'm 20 plus, gotta make a comeback.
We all have twists and turns in our life and journey, and you already got enough going on with the burdens or the obstacles and challenges that come your way for your particular life. The last thing you need to do is take on somebody else's burdens or whatnot and weigh them on your shoulders, because life is hard enough as it is. So with me understanding that, I was like, okay, God, I understand what I just did. I digress. Let me release this. Let me let go and let you handle this. But with me doing that, I also lost my POV or my point of view. It changed drastically. Like anything that detrimental that happens to anybody, I think, their point of view on life would change. I use the reference here. It all revolves around like the airport, like, the departure, baggage claim, carry on, and all that thing. So when I said I left my luggage in the baggage claim, I was saying I took the burden off me and I left it in baggage claim, meaning I left it with God. Now I'm going on with a carry on, which is my burden and mine alone, my challenges for my specific life. And it made the load lighter. But as a result of that, I wasn't able to carry on. I wasn't carrying on the same, or as a result of what happened to them, my point of view of life changed. I use a couple more references towards the end of this verse, and one of them was the man of steel and kryptonite and the Achilles heel. So when I'm referring to the man of steel reference and the kryptonite, a lot of people that know me know that I am almost like this quote unquote emotionless person, or I have a poker face. I mean, for the most part, people can't read me, from afar. It's because of the transitions and stuff that occurred and me moving, to a different city and different state. I felt like I was dealing with a lot of the things that I'll actually talk about in the second verse as well, on my own, even though I know I wasn't on my own. And this is no disrespect to any of the new people that came into my life or whatsoever, my wife, my kids, anybody like that. It's just that me personally, I felt at that particular time, nobody would understand what I was going through in my mindset. Like in my mind, I'm like, you don't even know my brother, my cousin like that, or you don't know the things that I'm talking about in my head. So how could you help? Which was farthest from the truth. In fact, they could have helped, but that's the space I was in. Kryptonite obviously was my family. Again, with some of the issues I was dealing with, like I said, going into the second verse, and the one I was referring to with my cousin and my brother, those are considered my kryptonite or the kink in my armor. With everything else, I'm able to disguise and stuff like that, but that was something that hit me hard. The Achilles reference, that was really talking about Kobe Bryant at the time when he ruptured his Achilles. he was at the back end of his career, and everybody was saying it was going to be impossible for him to come back from that type of injury. I also played on his number on his jersey. I said not 24, but I'm 20 plus. So what I was kind of saying there was, I'm not 24, I'm not young, I'm 20 plus, I'm a little older. And it was kind of like the reference to him being an older basketball player, and I'm saying that he can't bounce back from that. And what I was saying was, just like he bounced back from that Achilles injury that he had, surely I have to do the same.
Gotta let it go, and God our trust, foundations can't be cracked. Cause if it is, the walls will cave and people tremble with fear. All I ask is lend me your ear while I walk you through the trials of my year. Let's ride.
If I didn't heal myself through the process of leaning on God and leaning on my spirituality and letting that process go, and if I kept manifesting my own thoughts and letting that fester about all the situations that was going on, the people that I'm supposed to impact, at some point they will be misguided by me, and that can't happen. It's kind of like that thing, if you kill the leader, the soldiers won't fight. So I feel like the leader, and if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then the people that I'm supposed to be impacting, they won't have what they need, or what I was supposed to do and give to them. They won't get it because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. A lot of artists use their lyrical content to kind of express themselves in many different ways. And at this point, with this particular song, what I was asking my fans or my particular listeners to do is just, allow me to vent and be a sounding board for me. So with that being said, that's the first verse, and we're going to segue to the second one.
The answers was misleading that I found in that 80 proof, misguided by the hope and mistreated by the truth. But the truth is I made choices that would benefit a group, but apparently my moves would only benefit you.
I start this second verse off talking about, looking for answers, hope, and truth in a 80 proof bottle. I just kind of was a little bit more intricate with the whole 80 proof thing. Proof is basically the measurement of ethanol and the contents of a bottle. But nor here nor there, I'm still talking about drinking. Going through this process, and I'm drinking and stuff, and I'm looking for these answers. I realized that the hope that I was looking for, the truth that I was looking for, is being burnt away bit by bit. And what I mean by that is just like, whatever my perception of what, the hope that I have for humanity, the hope that I have for my dreams and goals and how things are supposed to go, reality and whatnot, it's not going remotely even close to what I thought. And originally when I was going through it, I thought that, God was really abusing me through reality. And I'm like, dang, man, this ain't even cool. Like, why am I going through this or whatever? But then as I dig deeper and as I'm talking to you guys and, and breaking down the lyrics, I came to realize that he needed to burn away and chip away some of that hope and truth that I fabricated in my mind, and allow his truth and reasoning and hope to be embedded in me, so I can be molded to what I need to be able to deliver. I've alluded a couple of times about me moving to LA and stuff like that, but I didn't really go into detail. But here I was like, I thought that moving to LA would be like not just a beneficial move for me, but for my team that I was working with musically. I thought, if we be in two different places, whatever the case may be, or even if, they decide to come, whatever it was, I felt like I needed to transition over from Houston to, LA or whatnot, to be able to propel us, to get us in a better opportunity to succeed. But, as time progressed, I realized that, that move was not really appreciated or received well from different people, and as a result, it did end up only benefiting me, and that definitely was not my intention.
My fans will probably think I say the same thing every song secretly. Read the Bible, Jesus said the same thing repeatedly. I spit it more than once, cause the first time y'all miss it. So I flashcard the message till the masses really get it. There's a void in this wall, but character is built on faith, willpower, and the loyalty is still stronger. God can make an apostle out of killer, then surely he can make a star out of a nigga.
Anybody that listen to my joints, man, I know it sounds super repetitive. I think a lot of artists, if not every artist, does this, where, they kind of say the same thing over and over again on different songs, but they say it in a different way, which is cool because it's the same message. But I do that also because, I mean, if you go to biblical terms, when you're reading the Bible or any contents that you're trying to do development and growth, I mean, every author is saying the same thing. So in the Bible, you have several different people who are saying the same thing that God was telling them to say. It's just different people. So I guess it means, you know, sometimes you have to say the message over and over again for people to get it. And also sometimes it takes the right person to say the message, even though the person before them actually said it. But yeah, so I felt like, you know, I got to say the same thing over and over again. And I know it seems like that, but I need to flashcard this message until you guys really get it. There's still a hole, a void there that's in my spirit, and I'm trying to mend through, you know, reading and development and getting closer to God. But the three things that I said in the song are very vital to me getting through my everyday struggle, you know, because I mean, every day has its own, you know, obstacles and challenges, but each day I go through it, I hang on those qualities and those core values, and it helps me get through. I think I used a biblical reference again when I was talking about Paul the apostle. In the Bible, Paul was actually, his name was Saul, and he was a killer, but Jesus, you know, ordained him and turned him into an apostle. So with that being said, I was like, well, damn, if Jesus can turn a killer into an apostle and be a man of God, surely he can turn me into a star. And what I mean by star, I don't mean a Hollywood star. I don't mean a rap star or anything like that. I mean a beacon of hope for people to reference to go to, and be able to, you know, have some motivation or some inspiration of somebody that's kind of going remotely through the same thing they're going through, or maybe just somebody that kind of look like them. Whatever the case may be, I wanted to be that beacon of light for that person so they can get the motivation to become a beacon of light for somebody else.
For every major fall, there's a major uprising. So make a way like MacGyver, no matter who despise you. People tend to make sure to land you in shit to try to downsize you. Little did they know shit makes the best fertilizer.
You know, we all have pitfalls, and we have many throughout life. That's our journey. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's how you grow. But what I do believe is, in the midst of you being in a pit, there's ways to get out. You just have to use a lot of will and effort to do it, but it can be done. I used a reference here, this 90s show that I used to watch as a kid. The show was named MacGyver. And this dude, he can get himself out of a jam with a little bit of nothing. Like, he would use whatever's in the room or whatever the case may be. Y'all go check the show out. I'm not going to go too far on it, but he would use whatever was there in order for him, you know, to get out of a impossible obstacle. And what I was saying was, God gave you everything you needed, or all the tools you need in that particular moment to be able to get out of the rut or to create something from nothing. Like, so anytime you feel like that you don't have enough, you have enough. You just not really seeing what the materials are. You got to search the room, look, search your mind, search your soul, and look for those resources that you know you have, because those are the tools that you're going to use to get you and prepare you to the next level. This is the harsh truth. People are going to shit on you. Bottom line, like, whatever you're trying to do, and especially if you're trying to accomplish something that's, I guess, considered outside of the norm, they're going to throw shade. They're going to shit on you. They're going to talk. They're going to hate. Whatever words you're trying to use, they're going to do that. That's just part of life. But what you have to understand is, shit is the best fertilizer. In agriculture, they actually use manure to grow certain crops and stuff. And in fact, they said that it's a better fertilizer than the stuff that's created via factory. So you have to learn how to be that crop and grow from the shit that people are throwing you. You need to grow, my friend.
Everybody has a struggle. But with every struggle, if you work hard, there's some success. Leaving it go.